Alright guys, welcome back to Thanksgiving Extravaganza. On tonight's episode, we're talking stuffing. Not that stovetop shit, we're making it from scratch. Let's get cooking.
I'm a private chef, cook for money, yeah.
Homemade stuffing. Here's what you're gonna need. It all starts with good bread. And by good bread, I mean stale bread, which kind of sounds backwards, but you need stale bread for stuffing because we're gonna add a lot of liquid to this bread and it needs to be able to absorb it. So the drier the bread, the more absorption power it has. Last night, I took a loaf of bread out and just left it, I cut it up and left it out to dry out overnight. And now you're left with like, listen to this. Let's say that you fucked up and you didn't take your bread out last night and you still wanna make your own stuffing. What do? Dice it up, put your oven on 200 degrees, put it in that oven for like 30 to 40 minutes. It's gonna dry out. You wanna toast it. It shouldn't be brown, but it should just be dry. I'm using sourdough bread, but you can use any kind of bread you want. French bread works well, even white bread if that's all you have. Like, I don't know why. If you're planning to make stuffing, you should go buy like a sourdough or a nice loaf of French bread. And then to go with that, we're gonna need some celery, an onion, 2 eggs. That's gonna make our custard with our chicken broth. Oh, I'm fucking spilling broth. Now we're gonna flavor our stuffing with some herbage. It's gonna be a fresh herb stuffing. So for that, I have some sage, we have some thyme, rosemary, and then parsley. Now this is your basic stuffing. Very classic, very simple, standard stuffing. I'll show you later on as we get going how you can add some sausage, how you can add an apple, some cinnamon, some spice, some dried fruit perhaps. But we're gonna start with the basic recipe. First things first, we gotta chop everything up. Get a pan on medium-high heat and we're gonna go in with an entire stick of butter. This is where people go, wow, that's a lot of fucking butter. Yeah, it is, but it's also Thanksgiving. You want the flavors, you want all that punch from Thanksgiving, you use a lot of butter. It's once a year, guys. Get over it. Use the fucking butter. Okay, so that butter is all melted now and bubbling away, so we'll go in, that onion. We're gonna sweat these now, so we don't really want to get any color on them. We want them just to soften up. So about 10 minutes, I'm gonna cover them for a bit so they steam and sweat. Going with some salt, some pepper. And while those are sweating away, I'll get the rest of our herbs chopped up. Hold it from the tip, pull down, the leaves will all come off. Same thing with thyme. You don't want any of the stems in there, you just want those leaves. Okay, these have been sweating for like 2 minutes, and now I'm gonna take the lid off. I wanna get all that water out. It's already gonna be wet enough when we put our broth in. If we have too much liquid from the onion, too much water from the celery, it's gonna fuck up. We're gonna get too soggy of bread and stuffing. Because I have 2 eggs cracked into that, and I'm gonna go in with about a cup of chicken broth and whisk that together. We're gonna be adding more chicken broth in a second, but this is gonna make the initial base. So the vegetables are done sweating. I'm gonna move those off to the side, and now we're gonna start preparing our stuffing. Let's get all of our dry breadcrumbs. We're gonna go right into this bowl of that egg yolk and chicken broth. Just add them in slowly because you don't wanna make a mess. Motherfuck. All right, and just start to give those a toss. Now, let's go in with the onion and celery, just right on top. And all of our herbs too can go in. I'll give that another toss. And I should note, I forgot to say this, I did let the vegetables cool for a little bit. You don't want to put them in when they're scorching hot because we have eggs in here. And what that would do is gonna start to cook your eggs. Now feel it. It should feel not mushy, but soft. It needs a little bit of pepper, just a touch of salt. So I probably put in, I add a little more broth. I probably put in like 2 cups, I wanna say total to this. Now let's get our tray. I'm doing it in just a hotel pan like this. You can do it in a casserole dish, works well, Pyrex dish. Or if you have nothing, just go to the supermarket, spend the $1 or $2 on a tinfoil throwaway tin. Bang, use that. We're gonna take some butter and just rub it all with butter. Make sure you get all those edges. When in doubt, just butter it out this week. Let's go in, all our stuffing. Just press it into an even layer. You want it pretty packed in. All right, time to bake. All we have to do for that, we're gonna cover it with tin foil for the first 35, 40 minutes. We'll take it off for the last 10, 15 minutes just so we get that nice brown layer on top. But for the majority of cooking, you're gonna leave it covered. Now we go in the oven. Now I gotta clean up. This fucking kitchen's a bit of a mess. All right, guys, my stuffing's been going for like 35 minutes now. I'm about to check on it, but I did forget to mention one thing. When you're mixing it all together in the bowl, that's when you can add the other flavoring. So hot Italian sausage works really well. Just get that in a pan, chop it up a little bit, get nice little crispy bits, bang, put that in there, now you have a sausage stuffing. I also like dried fruit and some nuts, so you can take apricots, cranberries, chop those up, and then add some walnuts, some pecans, bang, now you have like a nice fruit nut mix. This is just a simple one, the basic stuffing. So now, wow, it smells so fucking good. Let's just take this guy out, and we are gonna remove the foil. I gotta try a little bit. Yup, that tastes incredible. Probably like 10 more, 15 more minutes maybe, just to crisp it all up. Yep. Look at that, beautiful golden brown top, still soft in the middle. That's exactly what you want to see. That's the stuffing. Where's my spoon? Where the fuck is my spoon? I just had it. Here it is. And just serve myself up some on some. Look at that though. Look at that steam. Very hot. Let me give it a second. All right, I didn't really wait that long, but fuck it. I mean, what can you say? It's stuffing. What's not to like? I feel like every time growing up as a kid, stuffing was always the favorite side. Making it homemade, very easy to do. It's way better than that Stouffer's, that stovetop shit. You're gonna know the difference. Trust me, people will notice. It can be very, very good. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up the stuffing episode. It's Thanksgiving week, though. We have a lot more episodes coming out. We have the turkey still. We have some more sides, cheesy potatoes, maybe a baked brie. Who knows? Some vegetables. So, guys, I will see you next time. I'm Chef Donnie. Peace.